The Fun Pimps, developers behind 7 Days to Die, have finally released their version 2.0 Storms Brewing release schedule. Now that's not an exact release date, and there's a reason behind why they do that with 7 Days to Die, but we'll go into that in just a second. This update is going to be one of the biggest ones that they've done so far, with tons and tons of stuff going into it, and we're finally getting to see it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to playtest it. I got an email inviting me to the playtests, but I was on holiday at the time, didn't respond to the email before the deadline was up. So unfortunately, I didn't get to check it out. Very disappointed in myself on that one, so I do apologise. But this is going to be a good update. There's tons and tons of cool stuff going into this one. A whole new storm system, the whole new load of enemies, and loads of other bits and bobs as well. It is a massive update, one of the biggest ones that we've seen in quite a while, other than obviously 1.0, which was a brilliant update. And if you are a fan of 7 Days to Die, make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a like on the video. We've got tons more stuff with 7 Days. We're probably going to start a new playthrough when version 2.0 dropped. Now, the release schedule, pretty damn simple. The dev stream is June the 10th. Now, that is where Latham Meadows and Richard Hunick will have an in-depth discussion on all of the features that are coming to 2.0. And we will cover that. That is in, 9 days' time at the time this video goes out. And then there is the streamer weekend, which every major update they do, you'll be able to see streamers and content creators play early for a few days before the full launch, which is going to be June 13th to June 15th. And you can participate in that if you are a creator or a streamer. There's a link down in the description below. I'm going to try and apply for that. Whether we'll get in, not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure I got in on 1.0, but I only did a video because I didn't have time to stream. And then it will finally be releasing on the 16th of June, the day after the streamer weekend ends on Monday the 16th. This is a beta branch, so you'll be able to do this if you are playing on Steam through the experimental branch. And then the full version is going to be coming on Monday, June the 30th. As long as there is no game-breaking or certification issues, they're going to be releasing it on PC and consoles on the 30th, so at the end of this month. We don't have long to wait for the 2.0 update to come out. Now, if you don't know what's in this, I've already done a detailed video, which you can check out. I'll pin that in the description down below as well. Now, they don't normally do a sort of big patch notes on Steam. They do it on their external website with loads of cool stuff on there. You can get loads of tips, all that kind of stuff on their website. But as you can see, it is a beastly old update with tons of stuff. Biome, new game stage zombies, more POIs, more markers, more quests. Loads of stuff for dedicated crossplay and playing with friends. But of course, the major feature in the update is biome progression and elemental survival. You'll be able to face the elements like never before, conquering tough biomes in manageable chunks and unlocking permanent survival in the harshest environments. Being able to craft temporary buffs to push you to your limits, survival will be redefined. Progress through each biome with increasing threat levels and challenges. So I'm assuming with this, the progression's just going to feel a lot smoother rather than sort of rushing to certain areas to get the better odds and better bits. Things are now going to be located, and it's going to sort of not so much hinder your gameplay, but give it a more structured way through from the beginning to getting some of that best level gear and getting towards the end of the game, which I do quite like that. I think it is good, and it's not just on potluck. Some games I've gone through and not found blueprints or enough points to build certain items for absolute donkeys, where I'm getting into like the 90s and sometimes even into the hundreds without getting things that you really need for building, like the auger. The world's going to be a much more hostile place with things like smoke, heat, cold, and radiation giving you much harsher penalties. So you are going to need to build things up and get the right remedies for the survival. Being able to craft consumables that increase your temporary biome resistance, completing challenges to unlock permanent biome resistances. How these challenges are going to factor in, we don't know yet. And of course, new zombies, such as the Desert Plague Spitter and Snow Frostclaw, with unique zombie behaviours. There's also going to be a big change to how the end game is going to work and how higher game stage zombies are going to come into it, which is definitely going to be a problem for those late game players that have been playing for a while. There's going to be a whole new level of zombie mayhem, similar to the current green radiated zombies. They've added a whole new higher game stage, which is Charged Blue and Infernal Orange zombie archetypes. Those groups are going to have new behaviors, and the new archetypes will intensify the further along that you are. So those late game stages, you can, if you've got some of the best base and that right base set out, you can quite easily glide through a whole host of those late stages. It obviously depends completely on your settings, but you can, if that is what you want to do, glide through those. But I think with these new game stage zombies, that we've already obviously got the game stages, and then you've got the bombers, then the irradiateds, all of that kind of stuff. But adding the new ones and basically waves of them is definitely going to make things a lot harder. And then another key point for this update was perks, updates, and rebalancing. I do think this is going to make the skill system a lot better. I prefer the older style skill system. This one is a bit more... It's a bit more finicky. Beforehand, you could easily define certain things and upgrade certain bits, but now they've just gone with tons and tons of new skill trees. So you've really got to focus on one thing or another. You can't really go sort of all round, if not until you get much, much later in the game, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. But now they've added a new list of perks and an attribute list. So all attributes will now have 10 perks that have new and improved perks. And each of those 10 perks for the attributes has 5 levels. And then once you've got all of that, there's a new mastery perk set for each attribute. So some of the older perks as well have been moved around to work with the attribute requirements. So some things will now be in a general perks tab. So things that weren't working beforehand should work a little bit better with that. Which I don't know how I feel. I think it could make it better by redefining certain things and moving bits out of the way, but at the same time, that is also splitting up those skill points and making it a little bit more of a pain in the arse. And last but not least, the world is expanding with 50 new points of interest that are going to add more depth and variety to the world, and a greater variety of POIs that will be in the wilderness as well. So you're not just going to be out there slogging it for as long as you used to, especially with 50 new POIs coming into the game. Pretty cool. I do like that. That's a whole host. They've also added more remnants, which will improve performance, and updated the more demanding POIs so they perform a little bit better. And zombies are now going to be using crawl spaces in and out of certain areas to surprise you. So, wandering around in the night, pitch black, getting your ass handed to you by a zombie that's on the floor that you didn't even notice. So overall, it's sounding like a pretty good update. Not 100% sure if it will release on that June the 30th deadline. I do hope that it does, because at the moment, that's only 28 days away. So, not long at all. 4 weeks exactly. So, that will be releasing on a Monday as well. But either way, I'm excited. What do you guys think about the latest update and, well, the patch notes for it? Are you excited? Are you looking forward to it? Let me know in the comments down below. For now, though, we are going to wrap that one up there. I do apologise for my dodgy voice. My hay fever is really bad at the moment. So, nose is blocked, eyes are hurting. Yeah, it's been annoying. Imagine being allergic to fucking grass. But, yeah, here we are. So, we are going to wrap that up. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have enjoyed, you know what to do. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and stick around for much more 7 Days to Die and other survival titles. If there's anything you want to see, let me know in the comments down below. RPG-based games, make sure you check out the Space Cowboy, our second channel. All the links are in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.